You are listening to the Level Up Your Gaming Podcast live play collaboration part 2 of The Devil Went Down to Jersey. Part 1 can be found on the podcast A Fool's Quest, and part 3 can be found on D20 To Curtain on October 17th. Links will be in the show notes for these shows. Also, all the details for the creators involved in the project will be in the show notes below. We now join the members of FPI as they continue their investigation into the lead on the Jersey Devil, and as they head into the Pine Barrens. What will they find?
All right. So, do you guys want? Are you guys ready to just? Is there any? What do you want? What do you guys want to do next? I guess is the question.
I think the worst thing I would do is go over to the car, go over to the van, or whichever has the biggest, front end, so I could spread out. If the map needs to be spread out the map so we can take a look at where we need to go. And
the trailhead there, did they?
Mm-hmm.
And they gave us the GPS coordinates, right?
Right. Yeah. They gave you the GPS coordinates of where they left the trail, of where they found the ruined house, and then where they camped.
Mm-hmm.
Of that hill where they with the clearing where they had their camp and saw the thing, and then they gave you a brochure that points out how to get to where the beginning of the trail that they started on is. So because they didn't bother getting GPS coordinates to that, so they gave you that.
I'm going to enter all those points into my GPS as waypoints.
Okay.
I look at the GPS thing he's looking at. I'm like, that is cool, little map. How do you do that? What is that thing? I've never seen one of those before.
It's a find my way back home device.
Oh, that's great.
You tell you where you want to go. It tells you where you've been. Then it tells you how to get back.
Ooh, a magic box. That's good. Yeah, that's great. Ooh, and I look at it. Can I juggle it?
No.
Oh, okay. The time might come where I need to practice with it, though. You never know.
Juggling isn't one of the things you do with it.
And Rogers puts his hand up. He says, "Listen very close to me, Blair Witch Project. Do not touch this map or this GPS. You understand me?"
Yes, sir, Mr. Officer.
I'm not going to be stuck out here in the woods with you. Too old for this shit.
That's what I've been waiting for.
Exactly what he was waiting for. I've been waiting for that. And when you do it, Johnny Part 2 just does one of those, what? Kind of like Scooby-Doo. Yo, what? And then as soon as he makes the Scooby-Doo expression, he looks over at Vicky.
All right. So you've worked out everything on the map. You got your waypoints on your GPS. So what do you guys want to do?
Yeah, let's go capture Jersey Devil.
Yeah, let's head to that trailhead.
All right.
If I can say, as we're walking along the trail, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a helical pattern approximately between 20 and 100 meters from the group at any time. So that way, if anyone comes around us, I have a spiraling pattern as I go round and round. I learned that in the backwoods in Cuba. And so what will happen is if anyone's following us in the wilderness, I will always be with a 10-second, 100-meter sprint away. And yet I can still do a spiraling pattern as we move and capture anything that might try to sneak up on us.
I'm going to try not to fall down.
Okay.
I'm also going to try not to fall down while carrying all this gear that I decided to lug through the woods.
Scott, do you need a hand with all that gear?
No, I got it.
Well, I was going to ask Tony to carry it for you.
Well, if it's Tony, are you offering?
Might as well.
All right. So, let me see. So you guys, I would say that, after your trip to New Jersey, it was, it was morning when you guys went and interviewed these people. So it's probably like late morning, maybe around noon when you show up at the parking lot at the park. And there's, like they said, there's this big there's like a tourist trap store that it with kind of a log cabin design, and it's got the big sign and of what the park's name, and then general store, and it looks like it has a big picture of a big drawing of the Jersey Devil, and
Now, being a state park, does it have the obligatory topographical map with the UR ear dot?
Yes, it has one of those. Yes.
Take out my phone, take a picture.
Take a picture.
Okay.
Roger tries to follow suit to take a picture, but he didn't quite work his phone that well. So he's going to go over to Scott and be like, take a picture with his phone, would you?
Selfie opportunity.
Yep.
And while he hands his phone up, he's going to start. How much dry land is it? Is it fairly dry? Is it lots of tree cover? Is it
lots of tree cover? I mean, like the trail, the Pine Barrens, it literally is a pine forest.
Okay. He's going to take off his sports coat, maybe roll up his pants, put tennis shoes on, and then put his Columbia jacket on.
Yep. Yep. So and there are people, it's going in and out up the trail, kids, families, various people out hiking. So what do you so you've taken a picture of the place, you're getting yourselves ready. What do you do?
After that, I'm going to go in the back of my Jeep, unlock the job box that's locked back there, pull out my backpack that has my hammock and my small little compact sleeping bag and my regular camping gear, and throw a couple handfuls of freeze-dried food into the pack, string my bow to it, put the quiver of arrows on my hip, and lock everything up and set the proximity alarm on my Jeep. I'm ready.
Okay.
And then I'll walk to the head of the trail and wait for everyone else.
All right.
Tapping my foot impatiently.
Is there anything special anyone else wants to do?
Whatever other general camping gear we brought, I don't know what we brought or we brought any at all. I'm sure Roger expects whatever they have, he'll just use. He's got his little Panama Jack hat on, and he's just ready to go.
I have to change my jacket. One moment, please. I take off my corduroy blazer with the patches on the elbows, and I put on something that looks like a English explorer from the 1800s, with the big pockets on the chest, and then I'll grab my pack and a wooden baseball bat.
And I will grab literally all the
Alex,
gear,
you
and I'll
forgot
hand
your
half
pet
of it to Tony.
Yeah. Grab
taking
my share of
the motion sensors, the cameras.
Yeah. And Roger will help. Will offer to help carry any equipment that needs to be carried. He won't do it. He won't just go empty-handed.
All right, I'll hand you the EMF and other gear for recording.
He'll complain about it, but he'll grab it. Shit.
All right. So and the crew is the camera crew, they're all ready, and so what they're gonna do is one of the cameramen is gonna walk in front of you guys, so that way he can walk backwards and film you guys, or film you guys from as you're walking toward the camera, and one taking up the rear, and then one walking along with you guys off to one side. And Pete and Vicky are basically they're walking together behind the rear cameraman. They want to stay out of the picture, but they're there in case you need to talk to them or in case they need to give direction or whatever. But they're generally staying out of your way for the time being. So yeah. So
once everyone forms up, I'm walking. I have my coordinates. I'll set a steady pace. Look back at Roger going, tennis sneakers? As I'm walking away.
I like these shoes. Good shoes, comfortable shoes. My feet hurt sometimes.
Oh, it's gonna be fun.
All right. So
just out of curiosity, what is Vicky and the boss guy, Peter, what are they wearing? Are they outfitted for this kind of trip?
they are actually. They and so are the cameramen. They're all prepared for being out in the outdoors, and they actually don't seem to be, they seem to know what they're doing, at least in regards to filming and going out into the wilderness.
Gotcha.
Because they've done that before.
Cool.
Their show might not be too legit, but they do go out into the wild, and so they know how
They're
to.
not too Hollywood.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. This is what they do. So.
Okay. So I'm following. I'm sort of just right behind Jack.
Okay. All right. So you're walking up the trail, and you at first there's just you run across people hiking one direction or the other, and a lot of people point and stare and stuff at the cameramen, because that's something you don't see every day on a trail. Some of them kind of look at Alexander and what he's wearing, and but aside from that, it seems like pretty ordinary, and normal walk, in the woods, on the trail. This is a pretty, easy trail to walk. And so that made it easy for them to get quite a ways in before leaving the road. And so, yeah.
I'll keep walking until I get tired.
Sorry, go ahead. I was going to say, every 200 meters or so while they're going along the trail, I pop out of the woods randomly, roughly 10 to 20 meters ahead of them, and say, hey, come to the guy in the red shirt. I say, be careful, I'm watching for you. And then I disappear back into the brush and keep doing my spirals. So I just appear every 200 meters, I just pop out in front of the group, 10 or 20 meters ahead.
Okay.
Other than that, everything's normal.
So just so you know, the red shirt is the one who's in the front. So he's the one recording. So he's the one recording you guys, from the front.
Okay.
Good. He's right where I
so,
can watch him.
Yes, right where you can watch him. And so, yeah, you're walking along, and you don't really, you don't really have much trouble walking this. I'm sure Alexander gets tired several times. aside from the fact that it's a long walk,
Or cartwheel. I'm not walking. I'm cartwheeling
you're cartwheeling. Okay. All right.
the entire time.
The entire time. Okay. And so finally, at last, you get to you get to a point where like you've left all the people, all the day hikers behind. All the kids are gone, and it's only the more gung-ho hikers, are still going. And they're few and far between, and you finally get to the point where the first waypoint on the GPS, on Jack's GPS, you reach it, and so here it is. And at this point, according to the GPS, you're to head off into the woods to the left.
So for those of you that have compasses, we'll be turning at 140 degrees. I will promptly snap to that direction. Give a look to the sky. How much daylight do we have?
Well, it was around noon when you arrived, and then you spent, I think I said they took 2 hours hiking. You guys took considerably longer than that because of Alexander stopping every once in a while.
Frequently. Tripping and falling.
You guys like 3 hours in total with all of the occasional stops and parkour hijinks so it's probably about 3:00.
Okay, so it's still daylight. I'm gonna take just
daylight.
a minute to take in this space because this is where they said they were running back to get away, and they lost track of the creature here. So just sort of investigate kind of sight lines, where a good place to see them go to the trail were, just any of those kinds of things.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Why don't you make a perception roll? Because that's an attribute right on the front page.
Okay.
Looking for that. I take a picture of him with my Polaroid.
All right.
3 a blank, 2 positives and a negative. So that's 1 positive. Let's see. Perception.
It's an attribute. It's on page 1 of your character sheet.
It'll be great.
All right. So what you do find is you find one tree where it looks like an arrow was carved into it by a knife, pointing off into the woods. And you also see, you can also see where some of the brush has been disturbed. Like a couple branches broken. Thin sapling type branches were broken. Someone or some animal or something had like blundered through.
Okay.
Like maybe
Jack and the professor over. Look at this. Check this out. Come here.
Yes.
Arrow.
Yeah, that's fairly common actually.
Yeah, not carved into
Although
a
I
tree.
prefer to use a piece of surveyor's tape, thumbtack to the tree, and that way it doesn't mar the tree this way. But
This doesn't look like something the city did or the state did. This looks like somebody randomly carved this into a tree.
well, probably not random. It's an arrow, so it is done there on purpose. But it was probably done by the couple that came here earlier, so they could find their way back again.
I truly hate millennials. That's not true. That's not true. I don't really. That's what the character thinks.
So it usually you do something a little bit more visible. So I'll reach into the little pocket that's right behind my head. I'll unzip it. I'll pull out a piece of surveyor's tape about a foot long, then rattle around back there for a little box, open it up and pull out a thumbtack and thumbtack the foot long piece of orange surveyor's tape to the arrow.
Okay.
This way it can be seen from a distance.
Okay.
And most animals don't see in the red zone. So for them, it's just a fluttering leaf.
So at this time as well, since we are going to start walking into the woods, I will pull out the EMF, and I will start using that as we start walking through the woods from here on out.
So, what is that thing you're carrying?
This is my electromagnetic frequency meter. It reads electromagnetic frequency, so I can detect.
What's that?
It's there to detect paranormal activity.
Okay. Monsters?
No, it's a paperweight that lights up.
Hey,
Oh.
no, it's not. It's really important.
It is more time to find out if house has got bad wiring.
Can I juggle it?
No.
Oh, okay.
I think they use it to find studs in walls too.
Oh, I've seen those.
Listen, we're going to need this while we're out here.
Oh, I'm sure we will.
It's a very well calibrated piece of equipment.
Okay.
Yes. It holds exactly 57 pieces of paper on the desk. It's been calibrated. Good going, Scott. I will look at the branches that are broken off and see if they've been broken as something's going into the woods or coming out of the woods.
Okay. Why don't you because now you're doing a more detailed examination, why don't you use survival? Because it's all about nature stuff.
Got it. Ooh, +3. So that is going to be, holy crap. That is going to be heroic.
Heroic. Yeah. You see a little of both. There's some brush that's moved showing going in, but the most damaged, the most like broken stuff and misplaced branches are from something coming out of the woods. Like that happened secondary, later, and happened it was moving, whoever or whatever did it was moving faster, less carefully, that kind of thing.
Well, that would make sense, seeing two scared people when tearing back to the vehicle.
Exactly.
I'll share this with the group. Well, it seems like they were telling the truth, at least up to this point. Someone made a very hasty egress from the woods, and in doing so, damaged a lot more of the vegetation coming out than they did going in.
Mm.
But that puts us on the correct trail. So if we're all set, I think it's time to trek on. Hope everyone's got their flashlights handy. It's going to be dark in a few hours.
I take out my keys. I have a little one on the keychain.
check the batteries in mine, flip it on and off. Good to go.
There's like a rape whistle on it too.
Of course there
Just
is.
to get they hand these out at the university. Got the university's emblem on it.
Part of the recruitment swag.
Shake my head and head on into the woods.
Okay. I guess at this point it might be a good idea to know like the order in which people are walking, in which people are going, like who's in the lead. It sounds like Jack is in the lead.
I will take point and yell at the cameraman if I think he's doing too much damage to the trail, because I'm going to ask him to walk just off to the side of the obvious trail.
All right. Yeah. He's at this point he's going to kind of back off. He's going to walk sort of beside you.
Okay.
So that way he's still in the front, but he's not taking point, because now you're off trail, and you're the expert, not him. So he'll kind of walk beside you and take whatever direction you give him.
Fair enough.
Get in there behind Jack.
I'll sneak in right in the middle of everybody.
All right.
I'll take the back so the professor can be in between Scott and I guess. Make sure he doesn't, trip. He seems a little absent.
or get lost.
And then,
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll do my best to keep pace with Frank. I'll probably be lagging behind him a little bit, but
Okay.
I'll make sure we don't leave him behind.
If I
Well,
may
we
ask,
make
go ahead.
No, please.
If I may ask a question, which cameraman is the one with the red shirt?
Which cameraman? That's a really good question. That is going to be, his name is Joel Herrera.
Okay. So,
Joel.
okay, Joel Herrera. Hold on. Okay. So, wherever Joel Herrera is in the marching order, he will be my point of center. So, when you use a spirograph and you stick your pencil in the little hole, and then you spin it around and around, and then you spin, the little hole that as you make the spirograph go round and round in an oval, the little pattern spins in a circle and makes a cool pattern. That's exactly what I'm doing. Imagine that Joel Herrera is the pencil point in my spirograph circle. So as the line is moving forward, I am spinning around him, or he is I'm orbiting him like a satellite, doing cartwheels in a 10-meter radius around him as we go. So at any period of time, I'm 2 pi r radians away from wherever he is.
Just so you know, Jack, you hear Joel, because he's right next to you, mutter, "I should never have mentioned gumbo."
Yeah, it looks like you have a new friend.
Yeah, I guess I do.
Do you when you get home, do you feed stray cats and stuff?
No.
Well, this is what it's like.
While all this is going on and we're making our 2-hour walk off the trail, I sort of say to Jack, "Hey, how the hell did you end up with this group?"
My little brother is in this group. I'm here to make sure he doesn't get lost. Mom will kill me.
Gotcha. Good to know.
They need me. They get lost.
All right. So everyone's kind of trudging through the woods. You've got it's going to be hard to get lost, because A, it's still daytime, and B, you have a GPS to follow. But as far as making good time, it took that couple 2 hours, but to get to, I believe, the ruined house. But that's just 2 of them, and they didn't have cameramen. They didn't have Alexander. They didn't have
Johnny Parkour.
Johnny Parkour doing cartwheels in the woods, and all of that kind of stuff. And so it's going to take you guys considerably longer.
I figure I'm going to double all the times.
Yeah. So it's but I would say that it's probably summertime that you're doing this. So it'll stay light later. So it's probably around 6 o'clock by the time you find that stone that has that 1915 carved into it. And then if you look around just a little bit, you'll find out the house, the pit, the basement pit. And in fact, how about this? Why doesn't everybody make a perception test? That's on the first page. It's an attribute.
Mine's a good.
Mine also.
Okay.
Mine's a great.
Wow.
Superb.
Oh dear.
Heroic.
So no one did badly.
Mine is mediocre.
I suppose-
Almost nobody did.
Okay,
Gotta
whose was
Stop
mediocre?
and tie those tennis shoes, probably.
Rogers.
Roger did mediocre. Okay, so what happens is, you're at the spot where the ruined house was, and you would think that a basement foundation hole would be kind of easy to find, but in the middle of the forest where there's lots of with lots of brush and overgrown stuff, it's not as easy to find as you would think. But Roger finds it. when he trips over something and falls into it.
Thanks.
So you are going to take a scratch.
Oh no, he's only 30 days from retiring.
Yes. So on the wound track at the bottom of your character, page 1 of your character sheet, you get little circles for for how many scratches, hurt, very hurt, incapacitated, and near death you can take. Most people only get 3 of those if it's based on your stamina.
Mhm.
So the book says that you cross out any, if you have how many you can have of each based on your stamina. But like if your stamina is fair, you would be able to take 3 of them.
Okay, I've
And-
got good, and I've marked that one. I got 3 left.
Okay, cool. Awesome. So you got 3 left. And so scratches, they don't give you any downside except that they can add up. And then when you take a scratch and you don't have any more slots available, it'll move up to the next one up, which will be a hurt.
Gotcha.
Things can go bad if you're not careful. So you've taken your first scratch, falling down into this pit.
How far down am I?
Really, you're like maybe 10 feet.
Okay.
Oh,
damn it.
And it's partially overgrown down here, so you fell into some brambles and bushes kind of stuff, and something scurries away when you hit some kind of rodent or something, hopefully just squirrel or chipmunk or something, but you couldn't see. So you're down in that pit.
Gotcha.
Probably the rest of you heard him fall because
I may have even seen it. He's been walking right behind me the whole time.
Yeah, well, when someone falls in a pit, you don't usually most people swear or go ah.
I think I say, son of a bitch.
That's what he says. And then there's a thud. So the pit has been found. So you found the remains of the old house.
Good job, Roger.
Yeah. He stands up and sort of dusts himself off, checks his little scratch, and then sort of looks around since he's down here.
All right. Oh, excuse me. All right. So, it looks like just a really old, it was once a cellar, and there seems to be some remains of if you dig around some, you'll find you'll find like maybe some old nails. You'll find anything that was part of like the roof or the walls or the floor of the ceiling, that wouldn't have rotted away over the ages. You can see some stuff in here. Maybe some bits of furniture or something like that didn't rot away. But whatever it was, it hasn't really, it looks like it hasn't really been disturbed. Like not many people have found this place.
Gotcha.
There might be like, usually you can tell how many people come out to places like this by how many beer cans you find.
Mm-hmm.
And there might be one, maybe two, so this is kind of a rare find. Not many people probably know about this place.
Yeah, it looks like old Coors cans, so I'm guessing it's been a minute.
All right. So
look for a way out of here.
Yeah. The only way out, there's no like stairs or anything. There probably was at one time. But that's gone. So I mean it's 10 feet with help from somebody you could get out.
I'm gonna need a hand down here.
I extend my collapsible pole to his strong grasping hands.
All right. You can make a brawn roll to help pull him up. And Roger, there's a climb skill, so you can try to climb. So both of you do that, and if neither of you screw up badly, then you're up.
I did well, which would be the equivalent of good, but I'm using the proper term, because you don't say good or, you don't do good or you don't, you do well. So,
Okay. All right.
My climb is already good. And I cancel my pocket.
Oh, okay. So you did good. All right.
Yeah.
So you guys don't have any problems climbing out of there. So you're dusty, but none the worse for wear. You've got the you got that scratch. But that's about it.
Can I first aid his scratch? I have the first aid skill. Does that do anything with scratches?
Good. Yeah, you could nuke a scratch using first aid, depending on how well you roll.
Okay. Ooh, I did heroic.
Okay. You put you sprayed the disinfectant, put the bandage in the right place, and by the end of the scene, it'll be gone.
Cool.
When he gets a chance to kind of walk it off.
I want to look around for like footprints or scat or anything like that.
All right. There is a okay, that would probably be survival. Any of the outdoors tracking and that kind of stuff, that would be survival. Probably having a pour.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great.
What's less than terrible?
Okay. There is nothing less than terrible. By the rules, it caps out at terrible.
Thank goodness.
I have a friend who can never roll well, no matter what game he's playing. And even when he plays GURPS, where low numbers count, he suddenly rolls high. It's uncanny. So below terrible, my friends always call it Steve.
Pick up Timothy Stewart.
But yeah. So that would be just terrible, actually. So yeah, you don't find any tracks at all. You know, well, you found a couple and they turned out to be yours. But you know,
I walked by all the dinosaur tracks, passed by Bigfoot.
right. Either they're your feet, your footprints, or somebody with the same type of shoe and the same size. Could be somebody different with, you know.
But as we see him looking for footprints, would that be all right if we joined?
Yeah,
him?
yeah. Anybody else, you know, who would want to try that? Yeah, it'd be pretty obvious what he's doing.
Yeah, I'd look around.
But survival.
Mm-hmm. That's 2 blanks. That's 3 blanks. That's 1 positive. That is a. I've got a superb.
Oh, all right. So, okay. You find a lot of animal tracks, you know, here and there, and that would just kind of, you know, graze around, like they're just kind of meandering around, you know, nothing out of the ordinary. But you do see near a section of the edge, along the edge of the pit, not where you had fallen and gotten back up, because you guys tromped that too much.
Mm-hmm.
But you do find a couple pair of booted footprints. And Scott took a lot of pictures and stuff of the couple's boots.
I did.
Scott has a foot fetish.
Yes, and the kind of dirt that you had scraped off looks like the kind of dirt that you have here, and the tread looks very similar.
I show you. I'm like, look. I mean, I don't want to say it's conclusive, but
Well, it looks like the story tracks out.
and this dirt that I have here in this bag.
Yeah, the dirt in the bag and the picture of the boot prints. Yeah.
It looks like this story tracks out.
Cool. Yeah.
I'm also going to go around the perimeter with the EMF since I've got it out. And I guess since that's going to do a lot of kind of passive perception for me, while I am doing that, I will be kind of focusing a little bit more of my gaze into the pit itself. And you said that some people have gone down there. Maybe it's been not well tracked or it hasn't been tracked at all. But I want to see if there's been any activity down there. Did maybe our hikers go down there?
Okay. It doesn't look like they have. It looks like they didn't bother going down into the pit, but you know, you do see that they kind of walked the perimeter. They apparently walked the perimeter, like you did. As far as the EMF, you're not seeing. You're not seeing much of a spike. There seems to be, you know, you've gotten your baseline levels of the area. One of the things that, you know, like certain types of stone, like limestone, can actually produces EMF. Something not a lot of people know, but that's why it's always good to get a baseline, because you never know. But it seems to be, you know, not spiking or anything.
Nothing
like
abnormal.
That. Nothing abnormal. Yeah, usually the abnormal stuff would be like where you see a behavior like of spiking, not just like a gentle rise just because you walked on top of some bedrock that, you know, that has it, but you know, if it suddenly spikes and then goes down and you know, in reaction to something, that's usually, you know, what ghost hunters look for. But you don't see any of that right now.
And also, based on the furniture that is in the basement, what Can I make any sort of educated guess on what the building was?
It looks like it was a house.
Okay.
It looks like it was a house, and it was like turn of the century, like early 1900s type house. All right, so what is left? So you guys are at the place, and
Well, Bill was about to say something right before we.
Right. Well, as they're mucking about, I know we only have about 2 hours of daylight left. And as slow as they're moving, I'm going to begin to pull some stones off the foundation and find some and make a small fire pit and start clearing some area for some tents, provided anyone brought some. And I'll find a couple of trees where I can set up my hammock and then begin to start collecting firewood.
okay.
I'm assuming we are out of any sort of cell range at this point.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Just making sure.
And just to be on the safe side, I'm going to go ahead and check the stone with, I know it's a little bit away, but at least it may be an earshot to check the stone with the date on it, the 1950 on it. Just sort of check that general area.
Okay. Right. So you're just kind of like searching around it to see what you can find?
Particularly looking to see if there's any indication of what the 1915 is representative of.
Okay. All right. Why don't you make a roll? I would say survival would work fine because you're kind of searching through nature.
Holy crap!
all
Every
over
one of
the
these
place.
is a blank. Survival. It's great already.
Yeah. This is one of those weird games where even if you roll nothing, you can still do okay.
Right.
All right. So you did great. Yeah. What this looks like, you think you see some other rocks that look like they had once lined a bit of a path or a road, like maybe this was there weren't trees here at one time, it had been a cleared out area, and there was this house, and then there was a path or road that led up to it, and this was right beside it. Like it was, like a monument to when the house was built or something like that.
Gotcha.
But it's the road is long since overgrown, but you can see some of the remains of the rocks lining the road.
Gotcha.
I hope you enjoyed part 2 of The Devil Went Down to Jersey. Part 1 can be found on A Fool's Quest, and Part 3 will be on D20 To Curtain on October 17th. Tune in there next week to find out what happens next. Have a great week, everyone.